Assigning point values for different kinds of engagement can give you ideas about how to develop your online community. Hi everybody, my name is Greg Crable and this is my podcast, Something I Learned Yesterday, where I take an issue usually from the world of publishing and explain it in 3 or 4 minutes. Yesterday I moderated a MACMA event called Mastering Customer Retention Essentials. We had a good lineup of speakers and it was an interesting program. One of my takeaways was that we hear words like community and membership and engagement without thinking a lot about what those terms mean and what they imply for our businesses. What is a community? What does it mean to be engaged in a community? From a publishing perspective, we're usually talking about a community centered on a publication or a topic. It will have an online component usually, and it might have some in-person elements. People can engage with this community in a number of different ways, but some actions seem to express more commitment or involvement than other actions. If we want to measure community involvement or engagement, we might have to rank and score these different activities. For example, reading an article gives you 1 point, commenting on an article gives you 10 points, that sort of thing. So here's a fun activity. Set your own community or publication aside and imagine all the possible things that could be included under the engagement umbrella, whether or not those things apply to your product. Then score them. The idea is to think about how involved a person would be if they did those things, or perhaps how much effort it takes to do those things. You can separate them into categories such as basic, intermediate, and advanced engagement activities, loyalty activities, leadership activities, thought leadership, and so on. Now I have a whole list of possibilities that I'm not going to read you. That would be boring. If you want the list, go to my website. I ran this general idea past some friends in Joanne Persico's Bold Minds group, and Ellen Lelier and Janet Granger gave me some good recommendations. Ellen said community is different from engagement in an important way. Community is a group of people with a common interest that interact with one another around that interest. Engagement is directed towards content, not towards other people. I think that's an important point. As Janet said, people come for the information and stay for the community. This implies that someone who wants to build community might categorize some actions as content actions and other actions as community actions, and might even create customer journeys to try to move people towards community actions. That is, move from interactions with content to interactions with people. Now that could affect your scoring. Maybe people interactions get a higher score than content interactions. The other thing we discussed on Bold Minds is the distinction between a marketing focus, which can degrade into just a search for a list, as in find me all the people who are interested in such and so, and a content focus, which is trying to meet the information needs of a community. So those are my thoughts for today. Remember to go to my website and look at that longer list. If you're trying to put together an engagement score, I recommend that you take that list, expand it, do what you like with it, and then try to score each one of those engagement activities. You could use those scores to come up with an engagement index and then use a CDP or some other technology to create an engagement score for each customer. And as I mentioned before, you could also do customer journeys around that, trying to get people to move from one kind of an engagement to another kind of engagement. I hope that was helpful. If there's any way I can help you in your business, please give me a call. You'll see my contact information on the next page. Thanks so much.